Everybody, welcome to another tutorial, and today we're going to be looking at Android TV version 9. This is Android TV 9. We're going to be running this on a virtual machine. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the reason why we're running Android TV in a virtual machine, because what I'm going to try and do at a later stage is I am going to be using the SPICE protocol so I can connect to this Android TV like I was pretty much in front of it, even over the internet. So that includes the sound, that includes the everything, right down to the interaction of it. So the goal was to have an Android TV running on a server, and I can access it anywhere, have my Android TV favorite apps. I mean, some people would be like, well, why don't you just get an Android TV set box and use Android TV that way and just carry that around? Well, I want it to be different, and I like to experiment. So let's launch this. So now we go going into a installation of Android TVs, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to manipulate this virtual machine from the computer. This is going to be a straightforward installation. What we're going to do is we'll go to the advanced, and what we'll do is we'll do the auto install, because I've got a 32 gigabyte hang on, just while I'm getting things ready in the background, I've got a 32 gigabyte virtual disk that this is going to go on. So it's going to be enough just for me to install a few apps, and if I really wanted to add external storage, I could add a secondary storage later on. So without further ado, let's go with the audio install, because this is going to be a standalone system. Yep, we'll execute it as read and write. That means that I'll have root access to the box, in case I need to do things, because yeah, why not have root access to the box, eh? So now what it's doing is it's installing. I don't know how long this is going to take, it just depends on the hardware. It's doing a glitchy install looking thing. I'm assuming that the line underneath is where it's going. Oh, what's happening here? Unless it was formatting. Oh no, it was formatting. Now it's installing the system. So this is installing on a virtual hard drive. I would only recommend doing the auto install if you want to use this device primarily just for an Android TV. If you want to install it alongside Windows, you would have to choose another option. I'm just choosing this for the sake of this is in a virtual machine, and all I need to do is just, this is a virtual machine that's going to be dedicated for Android, so I don't necessarily have to choose other options. So we'll reboot it after installation. You see the Proxmox sign come up. It's a hypervisor we're using. As you can see, we've got it installed. So usually the first installer takes the longest, only because it sets everything up for the first time. So while we wait for this to boot up, we'll see how this goes. Google, and voila. Okay, so this is going to take a bit to set up, only because number one, it's on a virtual machine, and number two, the server that this virtual machine is sitting on has a mechanical hard drive. I've showed my home server in the past. It's not the best solution out there, but for what I want to use it for, it works great, because I only want to show off things remotely like what I'm doing now, more than actually use like heavy demand and multiple users, unless it comes to my V-Roll or corporate messenger, but even then that uses less than the CPU and all that. So yeah, I just thought I'd walk through a live a live thing. And well, since we are going through this all live, we might as well set this virtual machine and all that while we add it too. But after the first boot, which this is the first boot now, it shouldn't take as long to load. You'd get a better loading experience if it was on a solid state hard drive. But yeah, I'm only working with what I've got. So yeah, it is doing its processing. So once it does all the processing and setting up and building up the databases and all that, we should be able to just go through the setup. So that means that we can set this Android TV up. I'm going to log it into my personal Google account. Once it's all set up, just trying to ramble on while this is doing its thing. I should have given it more CPU resources, but it's okay. It's got plenty of RAM. Just that CPU will be limit bashing, that one CPU. Well, I'm actually probably not too sure. I'm just wondering if it's 25% across the whole load or 25% with one. But according to what I've heard about hyperthreading, it tries to use one CPU for the load if necessary, and then if it needs more, yeah. So it's like having independent pistons. They can go at independent rates, even though technically a average motor, once you speed up the whole motor, all the pistons speed up. So imagine that, where one piston's limit bashing, and you've got the other pistons just idling. It's a bit of a funny concept, but yeah. Wow. Here we go. So the rambling has paid off. So now we've got the welcome screen. So we'll choose. Yep. Do you want to set this up from a device? No, we'll skip this. Because what we want to do is we want to set it up manually. So it's found the Wi-Fi. That's the virtual Wi-Fi. So that's the network adapter that I've set in the settings. So now it's just checking for updates. So it's going on the internet to check for updates. So yeah, welcome to Android TV in a virtual machine. Which eventually this would be interactive through a SPICE protocol. Which is cool in a way because, yeah, I just want to do things a little bit differently to the traditional people. You know, it's better to be different and all that. And so far my differences is paying off. So we are checking for updates. I don't know how long this process is going to take. And just by the way, I'm manipulating everything off a laptop, you see, so even though I'm recording this screen recording off my phone, I'm actually logged into the same virtual machine on my laptop. And that's another good thing about this setup too, is you can have multiple users on the one virtual machine at once. Because, yeah. But the goal, and this is just filling in time while this is up, then the goal here is to see if I can create a bunch of virtual machines that I can create a SPICE protocol to. One is this, and another one is also going to be maybe a little gaming machine. Yeah, a little gaming battery series machine, which I've reviewed in the past. But I'm going to try and virtualize that and SPICE protocol it. So we'll go through the setup. Okay. So now we should be going through the Google setup. So I think this is going to be a lengthy tutorial, but hey, we'll do it. and I thought I'd do this in real time, so it feels like, even though it can be a bit boring with the waiting. So now, let me just log into my email address. I'll log into my personal email address. Welcome to Google. Oh, I think the @ doesn't work properly, I think. Could be wrong. Oh no, there we go. That's working. gmail.com. Okay, oh, we've got to manually. Okay, can we get rid of that keyboard? There we go. Try to get rid of that keyboard, so if we go to next. Blitzen boy, that's the right password. Hey, wasn't that working? Couldn't connect selectors, bleeding. So this is happening. Silly buggers now for some reason. Oh, no wonder why. Got an extra few characters added on the end. That might help. So now, there we go. Now I've got to enter my password. So this is going to be my virtual. So let's just enter my email password. Did show my password, but that's fine. This has got 2-step verification on it anyway. So if someone even tried to log into my email. Okay. Yes, so here we go. I just verified the email. Look at this, guys. We've got an Android. We're going to be experiencing Android TV and a. Okay, so we'll just agree. Yep. Just going through a few things. Yep, so these are just the last minute setups. All done. That's just finalizing, applying, finishing changes. And once we wait for it to load, voila, we have an Android TV. Literally an Android TV in a virtual machine. Now, as I said, this can be useful for a lot of things. As I said, if you have a Spice client, and if you want to interact with your thing, if you pass the audio through, so you can also make it so this can the audio, you can hear the audio and all that coming from it, and you can watch TV as if you were sitting it on at home. So hopefully you learned something, and until next time, everyone have a good day. I just thought I'd go through the Android 9 TV setup and installation, and signing in, and now we're at the front screen. So everyone have a good day. Till next time, ciao ciao.